Last week I asked a bunch of people on my Instagram, what questions do you have about real estate or what are you unsure of at this time? One person came back to me with the statement, affordability of homes is becoming less accessible for younger folks. Any advice? And so that's what I'm gonna tackle today. As always, if you like the video, I'd appreciate you giving me a thumbs up here. If you wanna see more stuff like this, feel free to subscribe down below. I try to do something like this every week. I was reading this article last week and it had said that millennials are known to be almost hopeless optimists, and that is the case except for when it comes to one thing, and that is buying a house in Southern Ontario right now. But that's not necessarily true. 34% of the market right now is made up of millennial buyers, and around 66% of all new home buyers are millennials. So hope is not lost. People are finding their way in, absolutely. But buying a home in affordability in Southern Ontario is definitely tough, and it takes a lot of thought and a lot of planning. Now, there's no catch-all, and there's no situation where I can give advice that will help every single person in the same way. So today I want to highlight just a couple of the facts of things that are going on right now and a couple of things that you can do if you're not in the housing market yet to get yourself ready for it. I often talk about being prepared, and so when you are gonna list your home, it takes weeks to prepare for that. If you wanna buy your home, it can take weeks to prepare your plan for getting out there and doing that. This is no different. When the opportunity presents itself, you wanna be ready to purchase a home if that's a goal that you have. Today I'm gonna go over 6 things that you can do to prepare yourself for getting into the housing market. Number 1 is gonna be continue to maintain good credit. If you don't have a lot of credit cards or you don't have a lot of credit built up at this point, start working on it, because when the time comes for you to take out a mortgage, it's going to help you to have a very positive credit score. So don't let that fall in your wayside while you're renting or while you're trying to pay off your debts and you're starting your new jobs. Be very, very mindful of maintaining that good credit. It's gonna help you a lot when it comes to getting a loan. Number 2 is gonna be start tracking where your money is going. Like I'm not the greatest at this, I'll admit to it, but if you are trying to set yourself up in general to get into the market and it's a goal that you have, you need to focus on where your money's going, where can you be saving, figuring out how much do you actually think based on your income you could put towards housing. Maybe right now you're putting 20% or 30% of your monthly income into rent. That's probably where you're gonna wanna land as well when you start buying. So that will help you determine what your eventual buying power might be. Now, that's gonna lead to the third thing, which is start saving up for an emergency fund. If you can't be setting money aside at this point with the amount of money that you have or the expenses that you have outgoing, it's gonna be important for you to find a way and find a lifestyle where you can start setting money aside every single month. An emergency fund is gonna be huge. Investors, money gurus, your parents, all these people have been telling you your whole life to save up 4 to 6 months income in case of an emergency. And that's what this fund is. So prioritize that, because even when you buy a home, you can't forget that there are gonna be other costs aside from just the mortgage that are gonna impact you, and you're gonna need cash handy for if the dishwasher goes. Point number 4 is going to be to talk to a professional and explore your options. The big thing here is to not assume that you can't afford a property or that you're very, very far off. Talking to a professional can either surprise you, and they may have options for you that would make it attainable for you to get into a property in your neighborhood or into the neighborhood that you want to move into. If nothing else, they'll be able to help you look at your application and figure out what are your biggest issues here. If your biggest issue is your income, you need to start considering asking for a promotion or leveraging the position you have at another company and getting more money that way. If your biggest issue is the amount of debt that you have, then that gives you a better idea of where your finances need to be going on a monthly basis. If your biggest issue is your credit, you need to start tackling that. And so talking to a lender can help you come up with an actual structured plan, and that can help you navigate the next steps in your financial future. Now, that leads to number 5, and I've talked about this in a video already. I'll put a card up top that is trying to find money in real estate. In Waterloo, there are some systems in place to help combat the inaffordability of housing. And so the region may offer a bursary or a grant to a family that can't afford it, and they may offer the amount of a down payment in the form of a loan that needs to be paid back when the property is sold. Depending on the city that you're in, there can be options. So check out your government websites and ask around, talk to people who are real estate professionals in your area, because there may be other solutions if you're able to find money in your area. The 6th and final thing is going to be start developing skills that you think will be important. I'm not talking about financial management skills or planning skills. I'm talking about picking up a hammer or a drill and figuring out how to do stuff around the house. Develop handy skills that you can bring to a property. A big thing that people underestimate are the ongoing costs of owning a home. If your sink starts leaking a little bit or you're starting to get a consistent drip, but you've learned how to fix that issue on your own and you don't need to call in a professional, that can be savings of hundreds of dollars every single time. If you're able to tackle some of those small things on your own, it can be a longer term savings, and it can also help you have the confidence of going into a home when you are at that point where you're starting to look at affordable houses because you've done everything else. When you walk into a home and you can see the projects that you can undertake yourself, that's savings for you. And if you feel like there's nothing else you can do and all you're doing is waiting for your next promotion, or you're waiting for your 2 years at a specific job so you can get a loan, then maybe one of those things you can start doing to help yourself is develop those skills. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. If you want to see more videos from me, feel free to click up here for one that I think you'll like, or click down here to subscribe and get notifications when I upload new videos. Thank you very much. See you next time.